Hi friends, welcome to this video. It is hot here, so my hair is up in a bun. It is summer in Washington, and while it's not actually that hot, there's no AC, so it makes it feel a lot hotter than it actually is. So today, as you know from the title of this video, we're gonna go over my reading for the last 3 months, which I feel like is kind of sad. I didn't do as much reading as I might have wanted, but I'm still technically on track to meet my goal in Goodreads of reading 50 books, which I know is small compared to some people, but we all have our limits and we all have realistic expectations of ourselves and don't need to measure up to other people that are maybe reading 100 books. So my goal is 50. I think as of right now I'm at 24, so I'm almost halfway there. So I decided I think it'd be fun to try to keep track of my current TBR and how many books are on it, and can I get it any smaller each time. So we're gonna go over the books that I've read the last 3 months, the books that I've bought, and where's my TBR now. So at the end of March, I left off with a TBR of 32 books, which I feel like isn't that bad. There are some people who have bigger TBRs, right? Okay. So the first book that I read was The Curious Case of Benjamin Button and Other Jazz Age Stories. And I actually listened to that as an audiobook, so I don't have a physical book to show you. But it had that, and then Diamond as Big as the Ritz, I think is what it was called. And I think that was actually my favorite story in there, and I think there were 1 or 2 other stories, but that was the one that stuck out to me the most. The next book I read is The Girl from the Other Side, Volume 10. I'm not really going to talk about what this is about because I think I have in other videos, and at this point we're on volume 10, so I don't want to say much and spoil anything for those of you who might want to read it. If you're into graphic novels or things like that, I do highly recommend it. I really enjoy it, and it's good art. The next book is Sinner by Ted Dekker. I've read a lot of his books. I have a shelf that is mostly his books somewhere up above my head. This was kind of a weird series. This is the 3rd book in the series, so again, I don't really want to talk about it in case I spoil anything. But definitely check out his stuff if you enjoy thrillers or Christian thrillers, or some of his stuff is just weird. Like slightly disturbing. The next book is Winter, and I feel like everybody knows about this, but this whole series is just a retelling of fairy tale stories. Like you have like a Rapunzel and a Cinderella and a Little Red Riding Hood, and obviously Snow White in this one. And this is the final book in the series, apart from, I think there's a collection of short stories. I'm looking up because I have the other books up there. And then maybe like there's another book, but I don't remember if that comes after this one or not. Anyway, it's a great series. It is a retelling of this classic tales, but then add some sci-fi. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. And then you have people living on the moon, and that's a whole other thing. Definitely recommend if you're into sci-fi. After that, I read The Princess Bride, and if you want to know more about this, you can watch my 24-hour readathon vlog where I read this. This threw me for a loop, and honestly, I love this so much. I've always loved the movie, and I bought this edition, honestly, when I was in middle school, I think, or maybe high school. And I just never got around to reading it, and I think part of me was scared to read it because I enjoyed the movie. And I was just scared that either the book wouldn't match up to the movie, and so then I wouldn't like the book as much, or the book would be so much better than the movie that I'd be like, oh, well, now I don't like the movie anymore. I would not say that that's the case. I still love the movie, and I love the book. I feel like they actually did a really good job of the movie and representing like what happened. And there's so much lore behind this that, I don't know, I think everyone should read it. The sense of humor is great. Definitely pick up a copy. After that, I read The Culture Code, which actually is for my work book club that I joined. And so these are books that I probably would never read on my own, but reading them as a company I think is interesting. So this just talks about the culture in different companies and groups and why they were successful or why it was not successful, and what we personally can do to affect the culture within our groups. And I think this could be applied outside of work as well, if we think about friend groups and things like that. It's an interesting read. I don't know that I would recommend it to everybody because it is kind of a niche kind of thing, but it was a good read. And then we have All This Time by Mickey Dougherty. I will maybe try to insert an image somewhere. I don't have a physical copy. I did listen to this on audiobook. I had mixed feelings about this. It took me a little while to get through because I felt like the first half or first 3/4 felt very young adult tropey. And I kind of had a hard time with that. I feel like I'm getting to a point in my life where I don't know if I'm growing out of young adult or if I'm just growing out of certain young adults, if that makes sense, where it has the tropey romantic characters and things that are going on and the love triangle and stuff like that. And I would say that this is a good book and I do recommend it. And halfway through, I'm sorry if you can hear that. My window's open. It sounds like a car is just like screeching. Anyway, halfway 3/4 through, somewhere in there, there's a twist that happens and I did not see it coming, and that threw me for a loop and it hooked me in to want to actually finish the book. And I do like the way it ended. I do like that twist. It was a bit odd, and kind of far-fetched, but that's what saved the book for me. I definitely wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it was a good book. The next book that I read, and I'm sure a lot of people are reading now, already have read, is Shadow and Bone. Again, I don't have a copy because I actually lent my copy to a coworker who wants to read it. She already watched the Netflix show. I am waiting until I finish the series. So yeah, I loved it. I see why everyone is enjoying it. I'm hoping the Netflix show stands up to it. I'm kind of concerned about that. But yeah, I really did like it. I don't want to say anything that would spoil anything. At this point, I assume most people have read it, but still, just in case you haven't or you haven't seen the Netflix show, definitely go pick it up. It has a really unique magic system that I think is cool, and it kind of plays with the dark versus light and people telling the truth, who can you trust, that sort of thing. And I don't know, I really liked it and I'm looking forward to reading the next book. I just recently finished that, so that is the end of the books that I've read the last 3 months. So let's get on to the books that I've bought the last 3 months. So the first one is Daring Greatly, which actually I just recently bought, but I'm going to say it before I forget about it. And that is on my desk at work because that's another work book club one. So I, again, don't have that to show to you. The next is the whole Shadow and Bone trilogy. I just kind of assumed I would like them, and I also kind of assumed that getting my hands on library copies would be really difficult with the Netflix show coming out. I had a feeling everybody would be trying to read them. And unfortunately, the copies that I did get do have this ugly Netflix sticker. I don't like that, but I could not get any other copies. And I would rather have this than have a copy with the actress or the actor or whatever on the cover, because I don't like those. So this is what we get. And obviously the third book. And then I also got some of her other books, because why not? So I got The Lives of Saints, which is short stories that would have been told in this universe. And then I also got King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, which also take place in this universe, but I believe take place after. I already own Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. They were gifted to me last Christmas. And so I think the only other book in the Grishaverse that I don't own now is The Language of Thorns, which I think is like short-ish stories, like maybe novellas that kind of come in between the books in the series. I think. I could be wrong though. So at some point, I'm sure I will pick that up as well. In the meantime, I have my hands full with all of these books. I really enjoy her writing now, so I'll probably try to pick up some of her other books, like Ninth House. I actually have it on my phone, unscribed, to start listening to, but I just haven't started it. Those are all the books I picked up, so that leaves me with a TBR of 32 books. If you'll remember, I started with a TBR of 32 books, so I did pretty good. I didn't make my TBR any smaller, but it also didn't get any larger. So I guess I can't complain. I feel like if you guys haven't seen Drinking by My Shelf, you should see her videos. She does this whole like balancing the books thing that I really like, and I sort of want to steal her idea, but maybe not quite. But basically she has to bring her TBR down, and if she has more books on her TBR, she has to choose like a book or two or something to read before the next month, and if she doesn't, then she has to give them away. And I kind of like that idea, but it kind of scares me that I'd end up giving books away. Anyway, let me know what you think. How many books have you guys read recently or bought recently? Have you had a nice book buying spree? Have you read Shadow and Bone or watched it on Netflix? And what do you think? Let me know in the comments, because I'm kind of scared to watch Netflix. Yeah, that's it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!